nome Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Sic erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. In nome Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. All right, so chapter 12G. Starting at number 4. I'm going to come around and check those in just an instant. We went for. Yeah. Oh, okay. I got changed there. All right. I'll just leave the door open. All right. What's up, please? Red writing utensil at the ready. The answers are as follows. Starting at number 4. Number 4A, the answer is 6. That's equals 6. Number 4B, or sorry, just 6. Okay. Number 4B, the answer is 1/2, 1 over 2. 4C, the answer is 4. 4D, the answer is 14. 4E, the answer is 5. 4F, the answer is 7. 4G is impossible. And 4H is -7. Let me repeat number 4. Next. Okay, number 5. Part A, the answer is 3. 5B, the answer is 7. 5C, the answer is 10. 5D, the answer is 12. 5E, how does that thingy compare in value with x? It's bigger. If you said it's 2 bigger, that's even better. But if you just said it's always bigger, that's good. F, explain why. I'll show you on the board. It's a little sneaky. They give you this. They wanted to compare that to x. They wanted to see how does it compare. Is it bigger, smaller, equal? Well, if you notice from factoring, this is x plus 2 squared. Divided on that squared. Cancel, cancel. X plus 2. So how does x plus 2 compare with x? Yeah, it's always bigger, and it's bigger by 2. That's it, like that. That's the y.
For me, I did plus minus parentheses x plus 2.
It's x plus 2. The plus minus would only be there if they put plus minus in front. So that's a radical, it's not a square root. How do you tell the difference? Like in the while, so to speak, this is a square root. And this is a plain old radical. The only time you have to put plus minus in there is if you're like doing it by hand, if you wanna get rid of a square, you've gotta use the square root. Then you'll have a plus minus. Like that. But if they just give you the radical to begin with, then you don't have to do the plus minus. But the x plus 2 would have. Does the relation that you found to work if x is equal to negative 10? And the answer is no. Why not? Did anybody try and plug it in? What do you get? Yeah, the first side should have gotten 8, and then the other side, the x plus 2, should be negative 8, which is curious. You may understand why it fell apart like that?
No.
Is this a fair fight?
Yes.
No.
This would be a fair fight.
Oh, okay.
In other words, the reason, you did everything right. It's not your problem. It's just that this is an unfair fight, which means that every solution has a 50% chance of being wrong. Yeah. So, everybody get a number 5? Yeah.
What was that?
F was explain why, show this. Make this binomial squared, cancel, cancel. And it repeats on number 5. Yeah, very good. For H, let me look. There was a negative 7. Very good. Number 6. Part A, yes, it is a solution. 6B, no. 6C, yes. 6D, yes. So yes, no, yes, yes. Number 7, you just had to do A, B, C, D, E, and F. So here you are, number 7A. X equals 45. 7B, X equals 9. 7C, X equals 220. Number 7D, X equals 100. 7E, no solution. 7F, X equals negative 4. And it repeats on 7. Yeah.
7A.
7A was X equals 45. Yeah. And number 8, part A, 10 plus radical 10. X equals 10 plus radical 10. Number 8B, X equals 10 times radical 10, so 10 radical 10. 8C, X equals 2 radical 3. 8D, X equals 3. 8E, X equals radical 2. And 8F, X equals 2 radical 2.
On the book said they'll leave it in radical form.
Correct, radical form. That means you gotta reduce the radical. But don't, in other words, I said don't make a decimal.
Oh.
Yeah, so you do have to reduce the radicals, just don't decimalize it. That's not good. Jonathan, Ricky.
Can you repeat, C?
C, 2 radical 3. Okay. D is X equals 3. F is X equals 2 radical 2. And this repeats on the whole thing. All right, questions? Sarah, go.
All 8.
Quick one.
Okay.
8A, X minus radical 10 equals 10. Can you get X by itself? How would you do that? What do you have to get rid of?
The negative radical 10.
How to get rid of that? Yeah, as long as you do it too.
That's it.
Uh, that's it. Those are not like terms, so you can't combine them. So you're all set. Next. Yeah.
7E.
7E. 2 radical x plus 4 is equal to 0. Keep in mind the plus 4 is not inside the radical. This is 7E. What would you get, actually, Bella, do this one. What would you get rid of first? I want to get x by itself. Oh, sorry. Subtracting. So V, what do you get rid of first? I want to get x by itself. Yeah, because it's farthest away. How do you get rid of it? Okay. What do you left with? -4. Keep going. Divide by 2. Just do it both sides. So radical x equals -2. Max, good question. Is it on this or something else?
It's on this.
Okay.
When you like, use the zero product property.
Zero product property is when something times something equals 0. This is something plus something.
Right, yeah.
Does that make sense? Good question. We're not done yet, by the way. Okay. So, Bella, it looks like you just square both sides. Does everybody get x equals 4?
Yeah.
Okay. There's this one problem.
It's a negative.
Yeah. There's 2 ways you can find out that something's wrong. Yeah.
But also,
If you do try and square it,
Oh,
it's not a fair fight. You'll get x equals 4, but there's a 50% chance that's wrong. Try it. Radical x equals -2. Tell me if it works.
No.
No. So if the only solution we had doesn't work, what do you write? No solution. Correct. There's another way you can spot it earlier without doing all the work. If I give you this, radical x equals -2. Do you notice that this is positive? You know, you could have a plus or minus radical x, that's a square root, so you have a positive or negative. This only gives positive answers. It's impossible for it to give a negative answer ever. That's a quicker way. It's a little harder to see, but it's a quicker way to get the same problem answer. Okay. The standard way is just to go ahead and do it, and then realize it's not fair fight, so then test it, and then it'll fail. And then you have no solutions left. That's the normal way to do it. If you want to be clever, you'd say no radical will ever equal a negative number, ever. If they ask you to try, it's kind of like saying that an absolute value is negative. It's just impossible. So you say no solution. Yeah.
So you could have just gotten it from the start because 2 times something plus something else would be 0.
Right. In order for this to work at all, radical x had to be negative something, and then that's immediately a game. You know, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Deal breaker. Yeah. It's a game changer. I don't know what to say.
That's okay.
Yeah. It's wrong. Okay. So yeah. 8D. Radical 3. Notice the x is not under the radical. Radical 3. This is kind of naughty of the book. I would have done this. I would have put parentheses around the radical 3 because it's very confusing to look at that. So how do you get the x by itself? Actually, Mary Kay, do this one. Correct. As long as you do it too. Both sides. What's a radical divided by a radical? Radical. So what's a radical 27 divided by radical 3? Radical what? What is radical 9? That's 3. Is there anything? Does that make sense? Yeah, sorry.
But it says to leave your answers in radical form.
But simplify them as much as possible. That was a little vague, I do have to admit. It says, they should have said, if it's a radical, leave it as a radical. I would have just said, don't use decimals. That was what I would have said. So yeah, the book was being a little misleading there. If you left it as radical 9, just for now, I'll let it go. On the test, I'll change the directions that say, reduce it completely. Which basically means, if it's a whole number, give me. If it's a radical, make sure it's a reduced radical. Does that kind of make sense? Joanna?
I have a question. Is the test just gonna be on 12G?
Yes.
No, that's going to be on all tests.
It would
You're not
already
supposed
get
to-
tested on it.
You already got tested on it, so it should be easier, yes?
No,
No.
it's not.
You did an exam like literally less than a week and a half ago.
No,
No.
3.
Two, okay, 2
Like
is
2.5
fine.
weeks ago.
You're not supposed to do a brain dump of semester 1.
Yeah.
I will give you, I will give you a practice test to correct your mind. Yes, okay.
We agreed to this,
So
right?
what I did,
I need to be able to hear. Yeah, go. Yeah, go for it.
Do this.
Go.
oh, me?
Yeah, it's easy when it goes about this.
That's what we're doing now.
Go for it.
Okay, I experienced radical, I had X under the radical, so I squared the radical 3X.
Oh, X under the radical would give you a different answer.
And I squared radical times 7.
Okay,
And then I got 3X equals 27, and then radical 3, so I got X.
yeah, that's the problem, because the X is not under the radical. That would have given you a different answer.
No, it's just not on.
That's why I'm annoyed with the book. If you look really carefully, the little stem, the radical, over the 3, it doesn't go over the X. It's like, I mean, I don't like them doing that. You know, like this versus this. Like that, I think that's, especially when they have this teeny little 12-point font, I think this is a particularly bad way to write this. That's why I want to do parentheses around it. So that's kind of their fault. Aside from the vague instructions in number 8 too. Next. Yeah, rather than parent. Which one? 8e. 2x minus radical 8 equals 0. So what would you get rid of first? Sorry, you tell me.
I did the plus radical 8.
Correct. I can do both sides. So what do you have left now?
2X equals radical 8.
Now, there's one little catch though. Radical 8 reduces. Yeah.
2 radical 2.
It's 2 radical 2. Yeah, because it's radical 4 times radical 2. So if I write it like this, you might be able to see it. 2x equals 2 radical 2. Now you can just divide by 2 on both sides. Cancel, cancel. X equals radical 2. Break it.
So I added the radical 8,
Yeah.
and then I got 2x equals radical 8
Okay.
divided by 2.
Okay.
So I got, what did I get 2 anyways?
I don't know.
You divided by 2 is 4. You divided radical 8 by 2, and you got radical 4, and then.
Oh, no, yeah, I got radical 4.
Yeah.
And then 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, by the way, radical 8 divided by 2 doesn't work. A radical divided by a radical is a radical. A number divided by a number is a number. But you can't cross breed them, so to speak. So, forgive the farm radical.
Can I do a problem?
Yes, you may.
5.
Number
5.
5 what?
5, all 5.
Pick one.
All 7.
Just start at the beginning.
5A.
5A. All right. Find the values. Pretty much they wanted you to just plug it in. Number 5.
Yeah.
I'll do 5A first. Pretend that x is equal to 1. And they want you to try this. X squared plus 4x plus 4, I think that was right.
Yeah.
Okay. That means every time you see an x, substitute a 1. So it looks like this. And by the way, I always use parentheses when I plug in. They want you to simplify that. Now, what's 1 squared? 1. Plus, what's 4 times 1? 4 plus. Add all this up. Yep. Radical 9 is? 30. That's right. One catch, make sure you're doing the order of operations. If you try to split this up into radical 1 plus radical 4 plus radical 4, plus signs will not let you do that. The plus signs destroy every exponent rule we have, including radicals. So I cannot make this radical 1 times radical, or plus radical 4 plus radical 4. So if anybody got an answer of 5, that's probably what you did. And unfortunately, you can't split radicals like that over plus signs. Time signs works like a charm. Plus signs,
Yeah. How do you get radical 5?
regular 5. They would have gotten radical 1, radical 4, radical 4. 1 plus 2 plus 2. And that would have been wrong anyway.
Oh.
So if anybody accidentally splits this into 3 radicals and added them together, it doesn't work. Plus signs don't let you do that. Next. Sorry.
8B.
8b. X over radical 10 equals 10. How to get x by itself? You tell me.
Multiply on both sides of radical.
I agree. What do you get?
10
You're done. That's it. Yeah. It looks deceptive because 10 looks like it might have a perfect square in it, but it actually doesn't. You can stop with it. Drop it.
5D.
5 what?
D.
D is in David? Okay. 5D, plug in x equals 10. I'm going to do the same formula, but I'm going to do 10 squared plus 4 times 10 plus 4. You see how this is working? So whatever number I give you, plug it in for x. Yeah, first of all do this, exponents before multiplying.
100.
100 plus
40.
40 plus,
144.
exactly.
And then 12.
Radical 144 and you get 12. Okay. Everybody good with that one? Sarah, good.
8C.
8c.
So I just left it as x equals radical 4.
You can't subtract them, unfortunately. They're not like terms. Only identical radicals can be subtracted or added. Like 2 radical 3 plus 3 radical 3, you can do that. What you could do, if you see the radical 27, that reduces. It's radical 9, radical 3. It turns into 3 radical 3. And then it works pretty well. You want me to see that one? I can do it.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. So x plus radical 3
What one is this?
is equal to, I forgot, which one is
8C.
it? 8c. Okay. Radical 27. First thing I do, simplify this. It's radical 9 radical 3, which is really 3 radical 3. So I'm going to write that. X plus radical 3 equals 3 radical 3. Subtract radical 3 from both sides. These cancel. So it looks like you're stuck. 3 radical 3 minus radical 3. Are these like terms?
Yes.
Yes, they are. How many of them are here?
1.
1. What's 3 radical 3 minus 1 radical 3?
2 radical
2 radical 3. There you go. Ta-da. Next. Any others you want to see?
Nice catch.
Of course it's recorded.
You're not
Everything
in there.
goes
You're
chaos.
not in there.
Oh, I was off screen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine. Just for the people at home. There.
That's exactly what
That's exactly what I did over there, except it crashed into this. Yeah.
You need it.
Go. Yeah.
8.
8F. I'll redeem myself on one. 8F. 2 times x minus radical 8 equals 0. Actually, Max, when you were talking about this earlier, zero product property, it works here. You can either do 2 equals 0 or x minus radical 8 equals 0. Now, one of these is a dud. I mean, which one? Yeah.
2 equals 0.
Yeah, there's no way that 2 could equal 0, so you just throw it away. Here, does anybody know how to reduce this? Well, what perfect square is in here? 4. So radical 4 times radical first, 28.
You said 2.
2. Oh, okay, I see. So what is that really? Sorry, I just
Is it the
confused.
negative?
We'll do that in a minute. 2 radical 2. Let me just rewrite this. X minus 2 radical 2 equals 0.
Oh, I get it now.
Now just add 2 radical 2 to both sides. And you should be done.
But if you just distribute it.
If you distribute, it'll still work. It'll just be a little messy. Yeah.
So you do nothing with that too?
What 2? Oh, this thing here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here, I was being a little sneaky. It's something times something is 0. The 0 product property lets me do them separately. So I did something with the 2, but it turned out to be a dud. Some people are totally sneaky and just divide both sides by 2, which also works. A third option is you could distribute that in. I would simplify this first, by the way. So you would have like 2x minus 4 radical 2 is equal to 0. Like if you actually distributed this in. I don't know how many people actually did. This, because this is 2 radical 2, and then you multiply the 2 in, and it's 4 radical 2. And then add 4 radical 2 to both sides. You don't have to do this, by the way, just in case anybody did. So 2x equals 4 radical 2, divide both sides by 2. The numbers cancel, x equals 2 radical 2. You get the same answer. Okay. You don't have to do it that way. Any others? Now's a good time to ask, yes.
Would you, so you could leave it, like on a test?
What do you mean by that?
Like, you won't have to do anything with the 2? Or do you
Well,
have to show that?
As long as you understand why.
Or do you have to show that the 2 doesn't work?
Show that the 2 doesn't work is a good idea. Or you could just divide both sides by 2. Yeah, what? That would be an option. Yeah.
How does that?
Yeah. Any last questions? Going once. Yeah.
4B.
4b, okay. X over, or radical x over 12, percent of x is 3. Yeah. Plug it in first. I would not do anything with this yet. Like, you could do a whole messy bunch of stuff, like get the radical out of the basement. Don't do it yet. This is radical 3 over 12, which I would reduce that before you do anything else. It's radical 1 over 4. Now you get the key. The radical of a fraction, you can do them separately. This turns into 1 over 2. Make sense? Any others? Last call. Speak now or forever hold your mathematics.
I can't hold it, wait.
And now pronounce your algebra and something. All right. Jimmy C. We are near the end of the chapter. I actually did something a little bit weird. Because if I had gone as, I actually have one last homework assignment, it's more of a review. But it's a worksheet. You don't have to bring your book home with you to save your back from some scoliosis. Main point of this is we need one more day, otherwise the test is going to fall on a Monday, which I really hate to do. Scores on Monday tests usually aren't pretty scary. So what I'm trying to do is here, do this, and I'll give you the rest of the hour to work. You don't need any new notes. You might be able to get it done before the hour is up. Then tomorrow I will plan to have you take the, oh wait a second, today's Wednesday, right? Okay, tomorrow we'll go over this and have any last notes. Friday we will have the practice test.
Okay.
So this will be the last homework. So tomorrow is just going to be dedicated to nothing but notes.
When are we having the test?
The test will be Tuesday next week.
We're gonna go over it on Monday.
Yeah, so I keep wanting to say exam. Practice test on Friday, go over the practice test on Monday, and then take the actual test on Tuesday. Make sense? All right. You may work in groups if you wish, as long as you keep the volume under control. A lot of this is review. So a quick survey for us of the entire chapter. This is not the practice exam. Why do I keep saying that? It's not a practice test.
You're freaking me out, dude.
But it's somewhat similar.
The practice examination,
I kept saying practice test, so yeah,
Did I just put my pencil in?
I'm gonna get,
I did that earlier.
I'm gonna get to where I want to
And then you could just.
say. Did I miss anybody?
What?
Did I miss anybody? Yes, no? All right. Call me up if you get stuck, otherwise, good luck. Enjoy. And I can hit the people at home. This is 12H-1. If I haven't emailed it to you yet, I'll email it to you in the next 5 minutes. You probably won't. You'll probably have this before you see the video. So anyway, God bless. See ya.